last 18 months, I've helped over 300 clothing brands use Instagram ads to grow their business online like this and like this. Now, if you're an apparel brand, you know running ads is completely different than most direct-to-consumer marketing and advertising. It's just completely different, which is why in this video, I'm gonna share with you real stories and inside looks at an account, big and small. At the end of this video, I'm gonna show you how to set up your ads correctly, step by step, the process that we use to help hundreds of clothing brands grow online. So there is no difference between an Instagram organic post, once you post on actual Instagram and people can see it without paying money, and an Instagram ad, except for one thing: you put money behind it. Seriously, I know it sounds crazy, but in our weekly Q&A that we have for our program members, or OSO members as we call them, I've been preaching two things that you guys need to know. And there are still people who question me a little bit, and that is fine. But for Instagram right now, number one is that followers do not matter. You've probably seen it. Brand with millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, tens of thousands of followers gets no engagement. 3, 5, 10, 20 likes, 200, 300 views. It doesn't matter. Then you have a brand that has 300 or 1,000 followers who is getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. The amount of followers does not matter nearly as much anymore, and I think that's an advantage for you on the other side of the screen. Number two is that Instagram organic is only a playground. So let me share with you what I mean. Okay, so think about it this way. You have Instagram organic that is gonna go and reach people, pretty much the exact same people that you would have reached before. So you got Instagram organic, and then you have Instagram paid. They're both going to the same type of audience. The only thing is that I'm using this to test what may actually work for my audience before I put money behind it. Some people say, well, if I have more time than money, that makes sense. But if I have more money than time, it doesn't make sense. No, that's true, I get that. But if your organic doesn't work and your organic is slacking, the chances of you being able to put something in paid and have that work is slim to none. Why not test this at scale? If you're going to create the content, posting it organically and then putting some money behind it. The best way to test images is to do a carousel if you're going to use images. The best way to test a video, right, is to post it as an actual reel. That's what I would suggest. The key here, though, is to make sure that you create content that actually stands out and reaches people. This is the formula to do that. Now, I call it the ARC method. So I'm going to break this down for you real quickly. A is for attract, and we use what we call a thought reversal to grab the attention by challenging assumptions or flipping perspectives. Now, a thought reversal could be, so you could go with something that's a little bit more cliche for this. Okay, now I realize this is not really truly one, but this for a thought reversal, you could say anybody who wears white after Labor Day has no sense of style, whatever. The whole point is to catch attention. Whatever it is in your industry, whether it's a boutique or a streetwear, or you've created your own private label, you need to figure out what that actually is, and you could potentially ruffle some feathers. You need to do it genuinely. Not genuinely ruffle feathers, but you need to genuinely come across as this is my true opinion. And the more, I would say, polarizing or more like a flag in the sand, do not cross this line situation, the better the actual content will do, because you have to choose an actual side. And the good thing is, the people who come to your side are going to be diehards, and the people who repel you would probably have never been customers anyway. You could say anybody who buys Lululemon is a sellout. And so then you could talk about how Lululemon costs way too much money for you using the exact same fabrics and you're doing it for a third of the cost. Or don't use this brand because they only use polyester and they do not care about the quality of the materials, whatever they may be, right? So you want to do the thought reversal. And I will connect all of these here in a second, but again, that's the A for the ARC method. Number R is you need to relate. With relating, it's all about building connection, building relationships, sharing stories, creating emotional resonance, showing empathy, if it makes sense. So at this point, right, you could do a founder story. You could talk about why you started this brand, going back to the kind of the polyester or the higher quality materials. I focused on this because I created a children's clothing line and I needed something that was more organic or 100% organic cotton for my kid because they couldn't wear something, they continued to get rashes, and these other bigger brands who I created the thought reversal about don't understand. So you're going to relate to a bunch of moms or parents who actually care about the quality of material that goes on to their kids, not just looking good or creative. Like a lot of kids will, or a lot of parents, and again, this is not meant for this video, they'll buy their kids what looks great, but then they look at the materials and it's not so good for their skin. They have breakout and rashes, their feet are shrinking because they're using too small of a shoe, all of these different things for style. And you may say, hey, look, that's not me, that's why I created this brand, and you related that way. and people are drawn into you. Number C, the letter C, this last part here, is to clarify. So you want to provide easy, actionable steps that they can follow step by step. Think of this as like the what to do, if you will. Give your audience a very clear path of what they should be doing. So if you're going after, again, the people who are having, let's say for example, not the best quality standards for the materials, and then you are the parent, then you can clarify and say, hey, here are the 5 steps to find out if your material is harming your actual kids. And then you created a video. So this is the thought reversal, this is the connection, this is the how-to. And with this, you get 3 main things that have to be in place for business. So you get know, like, and trust. For example, nobody can buy from you unless they know you. And I promise you, most people do not know who you are. Most people have never watched this YouTube channel, so thank you for being here. They have to like you, so they need to connect with you as an actual person. Hopefully, I'm connecting with you as the audience member because I'm giving real examples, or I will be. And then you have to trust that person. Does this person feel trustworthy? Okay, if you have these 3 things, that person will buy from you. We'll talk about that here in a second. I have an actual formula that you can follow for this, but this is the ARC method that you need to use to create content. Now, you're probably wondering, well, that's amazing. What does it have to do with ads? Everything. Because let's bring this all back real quickly, and this is not a normal tutorial video where I just set something up and you're wondering, well, I've tried a million things and ads don't work for me. Well, the reason they never worked for you, or they don't have predictability, or you cannot scale and you've been stuck where you're at right now, is because somebody just showed you how to set up ads, but they forgot to tell you what makes ads work, right? So that's what we're doing here. Testing organic content, then putting into paid ads. How do you test create organic content? You create great organic content. You follow this method right here that you can now put into your organic content, whichever ones take off. Then, so this is the trick, if you will. If I have a reel that is doing really well and it's doing well organically, I need to make sure that if I download that and I'm going to use it for an ad, I put a better call to action to it so that it tells people what to go do. If I talk about an us versus them, so me versus Lululemon, I would want to make sure at the end of that video it says, hey, look, this is $300, this is $100, but what you need to do is go shop here. So I have it looping as a call to action. This connection is a video of me walking through, modeling the us versus them, and then very quickly it has a call to action telling them what to do and where to go and where to shop now. Okay, that's different than what I would have done organically, but I gotta have a call to action tell somebody how to take the next steps and how to make a purchase. Because more than likely, if they are the person who is caring about these things right here, about the quality, and they also do care about the price, then they will go here and they will actually make a purchase, and that is how you make money on Instagram. Now, it is much easier to do this with an actual formula, which, like I said, I will hit on here in a second. So I was talking to an OSO program member the other day, and you're probably wondering, does he always talk to them? Yes, I do talk to them every day. And they have a product with a crazy high margin. It's awesome. But a low add to cart rate and everything else looked good, okay? Their initiate checkout, the conversion. So like their add to cart rate was like 1 to 3%, 1 to 2%. Their initiate checkout from that point, it only dropped like 1%. And then from initiate checkout to purchase was only like 1%. So once they initiated checkout, they basically purchased and it was all really ready to go. But he led with a problem that was the ads, right? So he led with this being the problem. But once we got into it, the ads actually were doing great. I mean, they were doing amazing, right? It did everything we wanted it to do. It had a good call to action. It was creating an amazing audience. It was reaching a bunch of people. The frequency was low. It was tons of good parameters of what works. But it was other things that were going on with the actual site. So we need to cover that. So to make Instagram ads work, we've got to cover the rest of that. We got to create, or more so follow a formula that I have created. Now, before we get into that, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name is Aaron, and alongside my business partner, Christian, we have helped over 300 clothing brands in the last 12 months alone. So I focus on the marketing and advertising piece, the messaging, which we're also hitting on a little bit here, while Christian is focused on website design, apps, increasing the conversion rates. Again, kind of hitting on that a little bit in this video. But if you found any value in this video so far, it would mean the absolute world to us and everybody on our team if you would hit that nice little like and subscribe button. It is absolutely free. Maybe you didn't know that, but it is free. If you do this in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you the most iconic animated character for the 90s, 2000s, and probably 2010s. His name happens to be SpongeBob. Okay, so this is an equation that will help you understand how to improve your business and potentially why or why not your Instagram ads are working. Because you're here because you want your Instagram ads to work. You want it to work for 2025 and beyond. So I'm gonna help you create the foundational pieces for this. I created this formula. I'm gonna explain each one of them right now. It looks crazy and you're like, dang it, I never wanted to do math again. Don't worry, you don't have to do math. It's just an easy way to explain this equation. I call this the clothing offer equation. Shout out to Alex Ramosi for creating the offer equation. I just broke this down and made it specific to you guys for apparel. It took a little bit of work, but honestly, it's very impactful. We've been using it inside of our business for a while now, and I'm sure it will be helpful for you. The S stands for style aspirations. So think about this way. Style aspirations, I'm really focused on, is this something that is trending, something that people really want to jump onto? If it is that trend, is it something that is pushing them to do it because it is more like functionality? Is this for a Gen Z? Is this for a boomer? Is this for Gen X? Is this for alpha? Is it for beta? Whoever these products are actually for, what are the aspirations for them? Think of this, what's their mass desire? What is the thing that they're looking for most, right? Do they want to fit in? Or are they looking to be the trendsetter? Do they want to make sure that they look stylish? Do they look better because they're wearing that Rolex watch? Who are these people? So that's the style aspiration. So we're doing style aspiration times the likelihood that this thing has a high quality and fit. Going back over here to this, relate to the person, connection. Is this somebody that I trust to give me a high quality and fit? Well, how do you do this? You showcase the material. Is this a stretchable material? Is it a high quality material? Is this 100% organic cotton? Or is this more of a boxy feel? Is this something that looks durable? All of those things you need to be able to showcase, and you're like, it's clothes. How do I do that? You do that with videos and with images to show, like maybe you've seen it probably a lot. Here's a 4-way stretch, right? So, oh, quality and fit, checks the box here. Okay, I will say these two right here up top, a little bit more subjective. So you have to really make sure that you are putting time and effort into showcasing these two areas because they are subjective. Now, the bottom part, the great point here, is that these are much more objective. The QF makes sense, that quality and fit, right? How confident customers are that your garments will deliver on the expectations, the reliable construction, the perfect fit, overall durability, just like I mentioned. But then you have the bottom part here, and a lot of people mess up this W piece. Amazon has made this worse for us, but you have like a good, better, best option. So the W stands for waiting time. How long is it gonna take me? How long does it take for the product to reach the customer, including fulfillment and shipping? You may say, hey, okay, what do I need to do to decrease this, right? So print-on-demand companies, I understand you're a little bit behind here. That is fine. It is just proving a concept, and then maybe you'll eventually move off of it. Or you can incentivize people with a couple of other things, which we'll hit on these two over here for the waiting. 1 to 2 days, you get a gold, right? That's the best. 3 to 5 days, that's the good. 6 to 10 days, that's the worst, right? You're giving yourself a lower score here. So a higher score for the waiting period, okay? That 1 to 2 days that this thing is actually getting into people's hands or shipping out, ship same day, get to somebody's hands 2 days, 3 days kind of thing. 3 to 5 days, like I said, kind of right there in that good spot, 3 to 5 days from start to finish, we're okay. 6 to 10, it's kind of that weaker area. If you got 10 days plus, it's very difficult, right? Brand has to pretty much trump everything. There's a way to do that. There's a way around it. Okay, so this SF is shopping friction. We'll talk through that. So what are shopping friction? Any hassles during the buying process? So site speed, checkout complexity. Are you giving too many options? Are you trying to do too many upsells? Unclear return policies. This is a killer. Hey, yeah, you can return it 14 days, but it basically can't be touched and you're gonna pay for shipping. It's like, never heard of your brand. I'm gonna wait 10 days. I don't really feel good about the quality of the content. It has a good style aspiration, but chances of buying with these three not doing well, pretty low. The last factor is probably the biggest one, and if you don't answer, you don't get check boxes over here, this is why people don't buy. You're like, well, I got thousands of people to the site. If you are priced too high, this PS, if you will, is price sensitivity. Your price does not matter nearly as much as the way people perceive it. So the perceived sacrifice of your product's cost relative to the value. For example, do customers find the price fair or do they only buy with discounts? Again, going back to my Lululemon example with this certified GOTS organic cotton. So my product over here is a better price. you can get free shipping. Lululemon, you can get it anywhere. It's got better brand, but you're gonna pay more. Well, I may get an extra point for price sensitivity by positioning myself as the more affordable option. And then if I throw in free shipping with it, now my offer looks amazing. How would I sell mine at a higher rate? Let's just say I bundled my top and my leggings together for $110 or $120. That seems like a deal when you come over here and it's $350. How do I do that? Style aspirations. I know that these people want to work out. Maybe it's the beginning of the year. Maybe they want to get in shape for the swimsuit body, whatever it is. Quality and fit. I show them, hey, look, this is me. This is versus Lululemon. I'm not arguing they don't have good quality. What I'm arguing is that mine's the same and we use the same manufacturer, right? So showed off the quality. Waiting. I'm gonna ship same day. I'm a small business owner. I got stock right here. The only thing that I'm doing is living, eating, breathing this thing. And so I'm gonna ship same day or next day. So I got it faster. And I care about you, and people wanna buy from a small business anyway. You have shopping friction. Cool, it's a very simple site, very clean. It's got very fast loading times. You do upsell, obviously you should. Check out Vitals if you need like some upsell. There's a link for them down in the description below. Sell Easy is another option for you for the upsell, but make sure you do the upsell. Make sure it's very clear what the offer actually is, because then I get to the shop pricing sensitivity and I'm like, oh, this is a great deal. And then I just add in the fact that I'm gonna throw in free shipping if they purchase over $100. They got the bundle and now they get free shipping and they're gonna get it fast. Now you can make a lot of money. Very, very simple here with this formula. Make sure that you are following something like this. Now, if you want this offer equation broken down, I have a full document that explains everything and how you can use it and giving a number system to it. Just comment the word clothing down below and I will send it over to you. Now, the setup of ads is highly debated on the internet, and I believe only about 30% of it actually matters when it comes to the setup. Because, as I mentioned, all of these things are a factor, and setting up an ad, I could probably teach you in the next 2 to 3 minutes, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. But you're here to see how it's done for apparel brands, so I'm gonna show you exactly how to do so. But first, hold up 1 second. I wanna say that if you're a clothing brand owner, you're streetwear, you're boutique, however it is that you own an apparel business, if you wanna jump into the specifics of your brand and why it's profitable or why it's not or how to scale online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. All you need to do is just grab a link in the description down below and we will see you on the other side. There are limited spots, obviously. We will see you guys. Now let's jump into Ads Manager. So we're gonna go ahead and hit create. We're gonna go for sales. Unless I'm doing a scaling campaign, which I am a fan of Advantage Plus, but for the most part, especially new people, unless you're spending $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a day, different conversation, and we can talk about Advantage Plus. Do I see people with success in our program with Advantage Plus? Yes. You absolutely can. However, tried and true works as well. And like I said, if you follow this over here, the rest of this setup is only about 30% and people will debate it on the internet. This is specifically the way I would approach it for apparel. Manual sales campaign, go ahead and hit continue. I want to label this. Again, this can be a conversion, sales campaign, however you would like to label it, just literally where I'm going after. Now, if I'm running ads in multiple countries or I have different concepts, I'm creating a new campaign for that. So let's just say this is for USA. Maybe I'm starting to sell in the UK or somewhere else as well. I'm not going to turn on the Advantage Plus catalog ads. That's for something more for Advantage Plus, not this particular campaign. Advantage campaign budget. This basically is the old CBO or campaign budget optimization. It means the budget is distributed throughout the ad sets. So you have campaign ad sets, which are typically the targeting, and then the actual ads. And then the ad set level, you can turn off or turn on new ad sets. However, we want the budget to go to the ad set that matters the most. So I like to just create one campaign and then let Meta choose between where the ad set money should go. Typically start out at around $100 a day. You can do a little bit less if you'd like, maybe $30 a day or so. It will work for you as well. If you don't have that kind of budget yet, right, then don't spend it there. Go focus on organic to get some winners and then move to the paid. All right, so this is the targeting here. Again, you want to pick the actual targeting. We usually start with like, this is a 101, and then this is women 18 to 50 years old. There's not really too much to do there. I also sometimes will label what this actually is by concept. So the concept could be tunic dresses. Typically what we would have done is we put all the products into one ad set and then ads, but now I'm switching out ad sets based off of the actual objective. So if this is all dresses, then everything in the ad set is going to go after dresses, and I'm not going to mix and match. Also, I've seen some success with website and website and shop. However, for this particular purpose, I'm going to go with website only, and you can do both. Just test it. Okay, but for us, most of the time, 99% of the time, website only has worked, and I like to keep the data. So make sure your data set, this is I think it's gonna tell us, right? This used to be the meta pixel. It is now called a data set. I don't know why they keep doing that. Just like to confuse us. So you choose the actual pixel, then you choose the conversion event. We wanna go for purchase. Always, no matter what. I don't care if you're seasoning the pixel, if it's warming up the pixel, whatever it is, just go for purchases because that's what you actually want. Going for add to carts, it's gonna get add to carts. Get traffic, you're gonna get traffic. People are like, I create traffic campaigns, and I hear this and see this all the time. I created a traffic campaign, I got no sales. That's right, because you did what Meta told it to do, and it got traffic. It did not get sales. So go for purchases. The people most likely actually purchase. Dynamic creative is going away, so don't really need to turn this on. It will be done at the ad level. We can do it as flexible. We can do what's called a manual post ID or ad ID, which is what we have been doing. Been testing both of them. Audience suggestion, I'm gonna switch to the original audience. That may go away eventually, but right now it is not, and it does better for us. So 18 to 50-year-old women, you can change this up. I always like to look at this a little bit different. So 7-day click, 1-day view is now an option here, but you can look at the attribution setting and make decisions off of different attribution versus 7-day click, 1-day view is actually gonna give Meta more data. Long answer short for this, if you're like, oh, I'm a little confused with this, 7-day click, 1-day view, leave it as the default. Go ahead and hit next. This is actually not gonna be tunic dress, but I'm gonna go 101, tunic dress. You don't have to use caps either. Like I said, I just like to label it. Make sure that you have some kind of nomenclature or naming convention that works well for your brand. Make sure your Facebook and Instagram is connected. You're gonna switch to flexible. Like I said, you no longer have to hit that DCT button or dynamic creative testing. It is now moving to flexible in the ad set level. So you can do all of it here. Multi-advertiser ads, I've seen it work well with and without them, so you can turn it on or you can leave it off. I just leave it on, just to make it easier. You can add the media. So I typically do 3 pieces of created, so either 3 images or 3 videos, and that's it. And then 2 primary text and 2 headlines. A lot of people ask, and I've seen some people that make this comment as well, and I agree, which is that I don't care. Flexible, you can't see. Dynamic creative, which was great, you could actually see which particular ad was working the best, but when you're creating a concept, it doesn't matter, right? So if my concept is, going back to this video or example up here, if it's an us versus them, then I don't care. The only thing that I'm gonna change is I'm gonna do 3 videos of us versus them. The hook's the only thing that's gonna be different, but that's really it. The concept is the same. So 3 us versus them and then 3 different hooks. I don't care which one is working because they're so similar. The difference here is that I would do 3 images versus 3 videos. Those would be 2 different ad sets or 2 different flexible ads. So add a text option here, buy before they are gone. Text option, like I said, 2 primary text, 2 headlines, add media. Again, all the images or videos should be the exact same, so I'm just gonna grab a couple of images here, collect all 3 images, put them in here. They're very similar. Now I have 2 primary text, 2 headlines, description. Sometimes they show, sometimes they don't. I used to say don't worry about it, but now they have been showing in certain parts. So you'll see it here. I am gonna write the description. See, faith-based ones. I also sometimes put this as a more SEO friendly or search juice, if you will. Advantage plus creative optimization. Sometimes leave that on, sometimes turn that off. Just make sure when you do this, you see the possible enhancements and you actually look at what makes sense for you and your brand. If it doesn't and it's not gonna show up well, you can do like this advanced preview and see if it's gonna look good or if it's gonna cut it off. If it's gonna cut anything off, turn them off. And you can just do the easy way and just keep them off as well. Don't worry about the event. Add in your triple whale attribution. So if you're spending $100 a day, you should be using triple whale. It's an attribution software that basically says this ad actually did make this money. Ever since 2021, there have been speculation on whether or not the actual numbers are true. So Meta will say that they made the sales, and then Klaviyo will say they made the sales, and then whatever else would say that they made the sales, and it looks like you made 300,000, but you actually made 180. So put in the triple whale attribution here, a link. It's very simple, it's very easy to do. They do have a free option as well, but we have a link in the description down below. You can use that. I believe it's like 15% off for triple whale, but if you're spending $100 a day on ads anywhere, you should really be using something like that. Okay, so now that you know how to run ads on Instagram and you know exactly what you need to put in place right here, you need to go watch this video on how to fix the biggest problems with your website, which is the conversion rate. Go watch that video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S., make sure you subscribe.